open grand PSF is trending around the range of 1,003.
When we convert it to a 3 plus flexi, it's actually about 5.15 in terms of length.
Step 2, 3 and 21, they are 5 bedders. They face internally towards the pool.
Alright, welcome to another new launch review, and today we're going to talk about this project in the West. Not just in the West, but in the heart of the West, and this project is called ELTA. So without further ado, let's dive into this project. So first up, we're going to talk about the project fact itself. Now this is developed by HC Land Clementi Private Limited, and this is a joint venture by MCL Land and CSC Land. So these two developers should be no stranger to many of the audiences over here, because MCL Land are responsible to develop Tembusu Grand and Nava Grove, now as well as CSC Land that developed Verdell as well as Twinview. Alright, quick facts into this project itself. ELTA is a 2 towers of 39 story, alright, that inclusive of a basement of 3 stories multi-story car park as well. Now, this project is a 99 years leasehold project with a site area of 144,000 square feet. That is able to yield a total of 501 units, inclusive of 401 car park lot, and is estimated to TOP at year 2029. Okay, so let's also take a look at the breakdown of the unit itself. 1 bedroom study has a total of 36 units. 2 bedroom, 2 bed premium and study has a combined total of 179 units. 3 bedroom and premium combined total of 108 units. Now with the most variation to the 4 bedroom, because we have a 4 bedroom compact, premium, dual key as well as study, that has a combined volume of 143 units, as well as the 5 bedroom with a total of 35 units. Alright, that add up to a total of 501 units. Alright, now in terms of location, ELTA is located right in between Clement Canopy as well as Clavon. So in terms of facing, there are only 2 facings. Either the residents are facing towards the AYE, towards the West Coast area. If not, they are facing towards the Clementi Avenue 1. Further up, you will see the Dover area. Okay, now, and of course, ELTA will be surrounded by plenty of the HDB flats around, with the newer flats of Casa Clementi. So this is where the residents coming out from their condo and cross towards the Casa Clementi area, they will be able to find several amenities such as the supermarket, dental clinic, alright, family clinic, as well as the laundry area, coffee shop. So this will be where all the basic amenities can be met. However, on the map, even though it looked quite close to the Clementi MRT stations as well as the Dover area, but they are not exactly near towards the Clementi MRT stations, because if they are going to walk, roughly the estimate time is about 15 minutes walks towards the Clementi MRT stations. Alright, so if they want to go to bigger mall, wet market, hawker center, shopping mall, alright, then this will be quite a distance for the ELTA residents. Okay, now so ELTA is being promoted as the elevated modern living. Alright, so if we go up to until about 20 plus floor story, if not the top floor of level 39, this will be the view that they will be seeing, right, towards the facing the AYE, towards the West Coast area. Okay, now why is ELTA being promoted as the elevated modern living project? All right, I'm going to share more about that. But first, let's talk about the schools. Why? Because for people who want to move towards the Clementi area, most of the residents here are actually wanting to get into 1 km range to Nanhua Primary School. But the question is ELTA within the 1 km range or not? Now, at this juncture, there is no official information from the developer. So therefore, when you go to the MOE website, all right, or one map, you will not be able to find a specific information. But because ELTA is built right in the middle of Clement Canopy as well as Clavon, we will be able to take a reference from it. So taking reference from Clement Canopy, we'll be able to see that the school is within the 1 km range to Pei Tong Primary School, and then the school within the 1 km to 2 km range. These are the remaining schools that fall within the distance. Now, by taking this into reference, my prediction and assumption is that ELTA will not fall within the 1 km range to Nanhua Primary School. Okay, so now that the 1 km school of Nanhua is out of the range, all right, are there any more attractive pointers and characteristics towards the ELTA as the new launch developments? All right, definitely there will be, which I will touch on at a later point. Now let's talk about the site plan. So in terms of the site plan, all right, if we are facing the HDB site, we will be able to see the Nanhua High School. All right, and then after that, if we are facing towards the AYE, this will be facing the international school over here, where you'll be able to see the landed view if we go high enough. All right, but that also comes along with the AYE expressway traffic sound as well. Okay, now when we talk about the site plan, why ELTA is being promoted as the elevated modern living, that is because the very lowest floor of the residential floor story start from level 5 onward. Now that means from level 4 all the way down to level 1 as well as the basement, that is where you will be able to find all the condo facilities that is being built within and stacking on top of one another. So let's take a look at the level 1 first. At the level 1, all right, I will just be pointing out the major pointer so that easily you will be able to see and understand the overview already. Now coming in from the Clementi Avenue 1, all right, this is where the drop-off point will be, right? And then once you drive into a drop-off area, right, turning to the left-hand side, that is where the residents will drive into the basement car park, right? Now, then for the service driveway, is actually on the another opposite side, which is towards the right-hand side, okay? So the service driveway as well as the residence car park will be on a different path, all right? Now, then we also want to take note of where are the side gates. Now, these are one of the pointers that many of the residents will be concerned about because that determine help them to make a better decisions on their stack preference. Okay, so for ELTA, they have a very nice. They built 4 side gates in total, 1 at each corner. So that actually provide plenty of conveniences no matter where the buyer choose their stack at. Okay, now and this is actually a good point because we see many of the condominiums comes along only with probably 2 side gates, if not 3 side gates in total. But for ELTA, there's a total of 4 side gates at different corner. Now, coming up to the level 3rd story as well as the 4th story. At the 3rd story is where the residents will be able to chill and relax, right? Because these are where all the pavilions will be, all right? As well as the one of the function room. And level 4 will be all the main amenities, such as the gym, the main pool, 50-meter lap pool, barbecue pavilion, all right, family pool, etc. So this is where you will see all the main facilities located at. Then at level 5 will then be the 1st story of the residential unit. Okay, so just to give you an idea of artist's impression of how it will look like, all right, you will be able to see that all the facilities and car park and tennis court will all be concentrated from level 1 to 4, all right, then followed by the residential unit of 2 blocks side by side one another. Now, so my assumption is that the artist's impressions and the entire ELTA design is actually based on the combinations of 2 projects for their referencing, and they are Clement Canopy as well as Clavon. Okay, so it is very likely that ELTA actually adopted the idea from Clavon where they have 2 blocks side by side. This is so that the neighbors from a different block will not be seeing one another, unlike Clement Canopy. Okay, and because of the expressway facing, therefore the entire residential block are being elevated and start at level 5 onward. That hopefully also help to lessen and minimize the noise from the traffic as much as possible. Okay, now so in terms of the facing, all right, we want to take note of the one that I've boxed up in red, right? Because for the five bedroom unit, right, which is at step 1, right, the distance to the expressway is actually 57.6 meter according to the developers, all right. And then if the 4 bedroom unit will have a 56.3 meters. Now, and then after that, as well as for the 2-bedder unit and the 4-bedder unit at stack 11, stack 12, the furthest distance is actually 47 meter and 49 meter respectively. So among the entire site plan, all right, and the land parcel, you will see that as much as possible, the developer tried to put the residential unit in the middle of it. So they are close to the Clementi Avenue 1, or are they too close to the AYE area? All right, so this is to avoid and minimize the traffic sound as much as possible. Okay, so if you are facing towards the Clementi Avenue 1, right, this is what you will be seeing, all right, the northeast facing towards the Nanhua High School as well as the HDB building over here. If you are facing towards the AYE, and if you go high enough, you'll be able to see the landed view, and this will be facing the southwest direction. All right, now let's talk about the land bid. And why is the land bid important? Because that will eventually determine the price matrix for this development. So, just to take reference from the Clement Canopy as well as Clavon. So, Clement Canopy, all right, the land parcel was sold and awarded on year 2015 at the break-even PSF of $1,093, right? Now, 4 years later, Clavon, that land parcel was sold and awarded at 2019. And the break-even price is at $1,401. There is an increase of $308 PSF difference just 4 years apart. Now, the jump, all right, will then see very obviously at ELTA because the break-even price is at $2,156 PSF. And that is a difference of $755 difference 4 years down the road. So these 4 years, many things have happened, as we all know, because of COVID. Therefore, the increase in the material prices, the manpower resources, etc., etc. All right. Now, let's also take note that this is actually a harmonized project. Therefore, because the AC ledgers, the aircon ledgers will not be considered as part of the square feet anymore. Therefore, that also contributed possibly at about 5% more in terms of the PSF. Okay. Now, with the break-even price, what will then be the estimated price matrix? Okay. So at this juncture, as you are watching this video, the developer have not released the official price matrix at the moment. So what we can do is to make a best estimation subject to changes and announcement by the developer. Now, but nevertheless, usually our predictions and assumptions are based on the 20% profit margin. So with $2,155 PSF as a break-even margin, plus the 20% profit, the average PSF is likely to be at $2,587. Now, so the estimations of the breakdown of the different unit type to come out with the starting price, estimated starting price, usually we base on the biggest unit to the smallest unit. Why is that so? Because the biggest unit usually will have the lower PSF. All right, so starting from the 5-bedder, okay, at the square feet of 1,776 square feet, and with an estimate of a 10% profit margin, that will have the starting PSF of 2,300 PSF. All right, and that will contribute to the starting price of 4.8 million for a 5-bedder in ELTA. Now for 4-bedder at 2,003 PSF as well, the starting price is likely to be at 2.7 million. 3-bedder, 926. This will be the 3-bedder compact with a square feet of 926 square feet. Starting price at 2.2 million. That is equivalent to 2,004 PSF. 2-bedder compact, 2-bed 1 bath are referring to that. 614 square feet. that will equivalent to about 2005 PSF with a starting price of 1.5 something million. With the one bedder study of 506 square feet, PSF 2005, and then with a starting price of 1.2 something million. All right, so these are our best estimate for the starting price for the ELTA itself. Okay, now, so we want to know, at this pricing, is ELTA expensive or not? Now, in my opinion, the starting price for the ELTA are slightly on the higher side, right? And this is on the higher side because if you're going to take reference for the break-even price for Clavon as well as the Clement Canopy, all right, it's actually a lot lower, okay? But does that mean that ELTA is not worth entering or not? Now, considering that from ELTA to Clementi MRT station is a 15 minutes walk, and because, right, we all know that Singaporeans like to stay beside MRT stations, right, for the sake of being convenience, for the daily activities, as well as for price preservations as well as the capital appreciations. People like to reside near to MRT stations. Now, however, if we're going to look at past reference, okay, because the easiest reference for ELTA will then be Clavon as well as Clement Canopy again. Now, but if we're going to take reference to Clement Canopy, so far, right, there is a total of 127 profitable transactions. Now, with the highest profit at 900,000 profit, okay, right? Now, and then we want to take a look, are there any unprofitable transaction in that project or not? The answer is no at this juncture, okay? Now, then, again, we also want to take a look at Clavon. There is a recently TOP not too long ago. Profitable transaction, 79, and the highest profit at 906,000 again over here, okay? And in today's context, there is still no unprofitable transactions for Clavon, all right? So why is there no unprofitable transactions? And within these two projects, even though it's slightly further to the Clementi MRT station, that is because many of the residents over here are already used to the distance to the traveling to the MRT stations. And in addition, so far Clement Canopy are still providing condo shuttle bus to and fro Clementi MRT stations as well as back to the project itself. Okay, so that actually helped to maintain the prices of the entire development. Now, usually when a condo provides a shuttle bus service to and fro MRT stations, that usually apply to the first year or even to the second year of the since TOP itself. But of course, with the MCST committee votes and residents vote and whatnot, all right, if the committee decided that it is actually beneficial for the residents over here to have the shuttle bus service, and if the monthly MCST is still within a reasonable price range, there is the possibility where the condo shuttle bus can continue to remain servicing the tenant and the residents in this project. All right. So of course, at this juncture, we do not have further information if there is actually shuttle bus service provided for ELTA or not, but there is a possibility, just like Clement Canopy. Now, all the more, it is no new information that the Clementi are famous in transacting $1 million resale HDB, all right? So up to last year as well as 2023, we are seeing more and more $1 million resale HDB that is being transacted, all right? Now, with all this $1 million HDB that is being transacted in Clementi, that actually help them to propel into the private residential scene because of the amount of cash proceeds that the owner can get after legal completion of their HDB flat. So that actually helped them enter into the private market a lot easier. Okay? Now, all the more, we also want to take note of the new launches in the west area as well. Because just now I mentioned, the estimated starting PSF or the estimated average PSF is slightly about 2005 range for ELTA. But when we look at the new launches in the west, such as Jayden All right, Jayden is already transacting at 2008 PSF with Lake Garden Residences and Sora transacting average at 2004 PSF. Now, then we also have the latest new launch in the Toa Payoh area that have already hit 3000 PSF as the highest PSF in the Ori itself. Now, with that said, with the average PSF of ELTA at 2,500 ranging, all right, that actually makes sense to enter into ELTA itself, considering that at Taman Jurong area where we have Lake Garden and Sora already at 2004, by adding about $100 to $300 into the PSF itself, you are able to buy into the heart of the west area at Clementi, which is a lot more sought after. Now, we also want to know about the future development of the Clementi area itself, right? Because being the most expensive new launch in the Clementi area, and every time we all know that whenever there is a new launch, that will bring the PSF to the new height, right? But what is even more important to know that if this new launch, ELTA, has the potential for capital appreciation or not, depend on the future development. So, things that we already all know, I'm just emphasizing it again, that Jurong will be the second CBD area, right? And it will also be the western gateway where there will be a lot of business development within this area, right? Now, in effort of the government wanting to decentralize the central area of Singapore, right, to help everyone be able to stay and work nearer to their home, this is what we are seeing in terms of the transformations for the Jurong area as well as the One North Business District, right? This is already all familiar by us. Now, more importantly, closer to ELTA, we'll also be seeing the Cross Island line that is already coming up, okay? So, not just that we have the east-west lines for the Clementi MRT stations, but right beside it, there's also the Cross Island line that is coming up that will bring the residents here all the way to the east area, all right, of Loyang Pasir Ris Aviation Park, all right? Now, that added to the conveniences in terms of the transportations. Now, of course, there's also Greater Southern Waterfront, which is 6 times the size of the Marina Bay, all right? So we can see in terms of the development of the Greater Southern Waterfront, right beside the Pasir Panjang, closer a bit, we'll be able to see the NUS as well as then the Clementi area already, okay? Now, then we also want to know, are there any further upcoming residential plot within the area or not, okay? Now, because all these new residential plot will then be the new PSF that is being marked right after ELTA, okay? But of course, we do not have the full information at this juncture, whether are they HDB or are they actually a new private residential. But what we know is that these are the residential plot that is currently subject to detailed planning. Now, where are they? This is actually on the northeast side of ELTA, which is in the intersections of Clementi Road, Ulu Pandang, as well as then all the way into the Holland Route over here. Now, so with all this residential plot, all right, that is coming up in the future, all right, this will then help ELTA to propel into the higher PSF, all right, when this eventually launch, all right. So that will assist and that will definitely benefit the ELTA residents to experience capital appreciations. All right, now let's take a look at the floor plan as well. Now, whenever we want to look at the floor plan, we want to first identify where are the biggest units, starting from the 5-bedder. So 5-bedder over here is at stack 1, followed by the 4-bedder, okay, and then we also have the 2-bedder, all right, facing all the AYE side. By identifying the bigger bedder, all right, we will also be able to kind of predict and assume which one will be the more premium facing in the eyes of the developer, because you know the residents here are going to pay more money to secure the unit here, therefore the developer will give them a better facing, okay? We'll be able to see the remaining 3-bedder as well as the 2-bedder and 1 stack of 1+ study, right, to facing towards the Clementi Avenue 1, okay? Now, so when I see that the 5-bedder is actually facing towards the expressway, I was at first a little bit puzzled as to why. Because, you know, the residents here are going to pay likely 4 million starting from price for a 5-bedder, but facing the AYE, is that actually the better facing or not? Okay, so this is again my opinion, right, as to why the developer decide that the AYE facing is actually the better facing. Okay, now this is because the view cannot change. Okay, because we are facing the AYE unblocked view, and further into the view we are able to see the West Coast Sea view as well. All right, so that is the view that more money can never buy, and the view will likely to stay permanently. And the length, all the more, apart from the West Coast Sea view, they are able to see the landed view as well. Now, in comparison to the Clementi Avenue 1, you will be able to see the Nanhua High School. Then, after that, you will see the HDB view. And these are views, right, that more money, you cannot remove the HDB over there. Okay, now, however, with the AYE sound, this is something that the developer can do something about it, which will then they give a better sliding door for the balcony, right? So the moment they install the double glazed sliding door, that will minimize a lot more of the traffic sound, right? So you know, when you reach back home, you turn on the aircon, you put up the sliding door, which is a double glazed door, that will eventually minimize up to possibly 90 or even 95% of the traffic sound already. And of course, the higher up you go, the lesser the traffic volume will be as well. Okay, so this is why the AYE view will then be the more premium view, and that is given to the 5-bedder. Okay, now this will be the overview of the entire floor plan, and I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I'm going to just briefly go through the different floor plan over here, and then I will also give my opinion as to if I were to buy one of the unit in ELTA itself, what will then be my preferred unit. Okay, now so for the 1-bedder plus study, we can also see that the developer are trying to avoid building just 1-bedder. Right now, they are also giving a bigger floor size to the 1-bedder by adding into a study already. So coming from a main door, you will see the kitchen on the right hand side and then the study table on the left hand side. Okay, so this is the more improved version of the 1-bedder, since the developer are avoiding 1-bedder by itself by giving more additional floor size into the unit. All right, now then we have the 2-bedder. There are two types, B1 and B2. Now the difference is that they are actually just a mirror image by itself. Okay, so coming in from main door, right, we will also, instead of seeing a straight line kitchen, this is kind of a semi-enclosed kitchen by itself. But because there is no window, so it is very likely that they are just using the electronic stove instead of the gas stove. Okay, so something to take note about. All right, now then after that, beyond the kitchen, we'll be able to see the dining table, dumbbell layout, all right, with the bedroom on each side. All right, this is actually a 2-bed, 1-bath. Take note of that, huh? 2-bed, 1 bath. Then followed by the 2-bedder premium. This is where you will get a 2-bed, 2-bath. All right. Again, you have the dumbbell layout, and then you have the common bath over here, the master bath over here. All right, together with the semi-enclosed kitchen. Okay. Now this is a usual layout that we get to see in the Clementi condo over here, because this is also almost the same layout that we see in Clement Canopy. All right, so they are just replicating the same layout, right? Because this is the more preferred one, because they have the enclosable kitchen over here. 2+ study, all right. 2+ study, we get to have same thing. The study is right opposite the kitchen over here, semi-enclosed kitchen, yeah, and then the common bath, master bath, dumbbell layout. Now this is actually the more efficient layout, and personally I prefer the dumbbell layout as well, right? Because that actually reduces a lot more of the dead space within the floor area. 3-bedder compact, all right. For a 3-bedder compact, same thing, right? You also have the enclosed kitchen, but this time around you have the window, yeah, in the enclosed kitchen, okay. And then after that, 2 bath over here, but no longer the dumbbell layout. Right? So when it comes to the kitchen, for a 3-bedder compact, you'll just see the kitchen on its own without the yard and the wet kitchen. So for the 3-bedder premium, you get the dry kitchen, wet kitchen, the yard area, and then followed by a study. Okay, so instead of naming it as a 3+ study, they name it as a 3-bedder premium. They have a study over here. Now this study over here, by looking at the floor plan, if you do not require the study, you can actually change this into a utility room, a storage room over here, right? Because this actually just fall right behind the WC. So most likely people may also convert this into a utility, okay? Now, 4-bedroom compact, okay? The difference between the 4-bedroom as well as the 4-bed premium is that instead of the storeroom, you get the home shelter over here, right? So here at the 4-bedroom premium, it is a home shelter followed by a wet kitchen, dry kitchen, yard area, WC, right? Okay. Then for the, it's the same, yeah. The only difference is just the store and the home shelter. Now, then for the 4-bedroom dual key, coming in from a foyer, I think this is a very nice foyer that create a very nice segregation. If you were to rent this out, so coming in to the foyer, you have the kitchenette, bath, and then followed by a queen size. If not, you can go up to king size. I think shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so this is the dual key part. The separation coming in, then you have the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, living, dining, all right, common bath, master bath, and then you have the storeroom over here, kitchen and yard area. Okay, now I also want to touch on a little bit more as to why are we seeing developer bringing back the dual key, okay? And we also see that happening in Lake Garden residences as well, right? Taman Jurong area, and they are still building the dual key unit. Why is that so? Okay, first of all, because the ELTA location, right, is very close to the NUS High School, right? We also have several tertiary over there, close to Singapore Polytechnic, Ngee Ann Polytechnic, SIM, all right, definitely NUS, and then we're also close to the Dover, Buona Vista, One North Business Park as well. So because of that, the likelihood of you getting tenant in the development is actually quite high. Okay, now secondly, because of the rise of the ABSD as well as the stamp duty, all right, my opinion is that the developer built a dual key is so that you can actually stay and invest at the same time by renting out one of your bedroom. And in conjunction, you do not have to pay for ABSD because this is just one unit by its own. All right. So I think the popularity of the dual key are coming back, but the more important thing into buying a dual key is to ensure that the layout is very optimized. It is not a very weird layout like some other development, which I do not want to name it in this video. Right? But by looking at the ELTA dual key layout over here, it is actually very optimized. Okay? The moment you enter into your house over here through the foyer, right, the layout, right, is as good as a normal 3-bedder premium, is okay, right, where you also have the wet kitchen, the yard, a storeroom, all right, and you are not compromised because of the dual key over here at this area. Okay, now then you have the 4-bedder plus study coming in. You have the dry kitchen, wet kitchen, yard area, all right, and then after that you have the home shelter, WC, study, 4+ study. The study is over here. Right? If you do not want it as a study, you can even actually place in a single-size bed. Shouldn't be a problem. All right. Last but not least, we have the 5-bedder. On the right-hand side, you will get the junior master. On the left-hand side, home shelter, utility. All right. And then after that, the master bedroom, and you still have a mini walk-in wardrobe, followed by the master bath. All right. So All in all, very squarish and effective layout, no matter which bidder that you go for. Okay. Now, before we go into the conclusion, I just want to highlight and share my opinion. If I were to buy one unit in the ELTA itself, which unit will I go for? I will possibly go for a 4-bedder. Okay, I will possibly go for a 4-bedder instead of the 4-bedder premium or 4+ study. Why is that so? Because in my opinion, I think it doesn't make a huge difference whether am I getting a storeroom or whether am I getting a home shelter. All right. So as long as I have a place for me to store my item, I think that would be sufficient enough already. And in addition, the 4-bedder, I get to choose whether I want the Clementi Avenue 1 facing or do I want the AYE facing, right? Why is that so? Because even though it's 4-bedder, but the different facing will command whether if there's a premium or not. So very likely the 4-bedder, stack 8, 13, stack 5, these are 4-bedder that likely command a premium price, whereas the 4-bedder at stack 5 may command at a slightly lower price because of the HDB facing over here. So very likely, if I were to go for a 4-bedder, I will have the option to choose the stack that I like based on my personal budget, yet the 4-bedder is also able to meet my demand, right, of the space and comes together with a place for a helper to stay as well, right? Because I have a store, right, I have a WC over here, right? I can even, if I have two children, 1 bedroom each, and then the last bedroom can be a guest room, as well as doubling up as my bedroom for my helper as well. So overall, the space is sufficient for a family of 4 or even 5 packs. Okay, now last but not least, conclusion. So likely, who are going to buy into the ELTA? First of all, the Westie, right? If you are once a Westie, always a Westie. Very hard, very unlikely, right? They're going to move out of this area, right? And furthermore, if you stay in Jurong, Jurong West, Jurong East, Taman Jurong, this area, you want to move closer, right, to the central area. This is where you can go to, right, by not going out of west, but still very accessible to the CBD and the central area. Okay. Now, and people are likely to move towards the heart of the west. Okay, if you are staying in the Holland area, Buona Vista area, Pasir Panjang area, you want to move slightly closer to the heart of the west, right? This is where you can go to, because any further out, likely the pricing is going to be different. It's going to be slightly higher, right, than the Clementi area itself. If you are staying at Tengah, we are seeing that Tengah is an upcoming development, just like Punggol. We're going to have a huge pool of HDB resale residents over there. Buying into the ELTA area, few years down the road, it is very possible, right? Referencing back to the new launch in the West, where I mentioned that Jayden is already transacting at 2008, Lake Garden Residences, Sora is already transacting at 2004. So with 2005 as the average for ELTA, I think that is actually very reasonable. Okay. However, 2005 could just be the slightly lower side of the PSF itself, right? My opinion is that the PSF transaction in terms of range is likely to be between 2004 plus to about maybe say about 2008 thereabout. Okay, depending on how high you go. Yeah. Now, then the awareness of the ongoing transformations, we also have the upcoming Cross Island line that is coming up just right beside Clementi East-West line itself, as well as the future residential plot where I mentioned along the Clementi route, Ulu Pandang, as well as the Holland route, where we will see a lot of the residential plot subject to detailed planning. At this juncture, we do not know is it HDB or private residential, right? But these are the future transformations. So looking at all this pointer in total, all right, combining with the price matrix, estimated price matrix for ELTA, we think that there is a good opportunity for ELTA as the project to enter, whether is it for own stay or for investment. So if you're interested in ELTA, all right, and you want to know more information about it, you can just contact us, PLB, and we will have a consultant that's being assigned to you that is going to share more information about ELTA and going to analyze more in-depth information with you. Once again, I'm Alfred. Thank you for joining me in this new launch studio review. Thank you.